Welcome back to How Not to MTGA, and I am Nil Gravity, and we're going to check out a new deck today. I'm really disappointed I didn't come up with a clever name for it. I say clever hole because I'm probably going to name it Sinkhole. Not that the last one had a particularly clever name. It was sort of a reference to burning out, or burning that burns twice as bright, burns half as long, or something like that. Anyways, let's dive into what's probably going to be called Sinkhole. I re-recorded this episode because the audio was just awful. I tried to stream directly, and I guess the speakers on this aren't as good. So I've got Tragic Poet, some Llanowar Elves, some Remorseful Cleric, Tomik. Tomik is supposed to mess with their graveyard, but I don't think it actually works for some reason. We'll see in here. I've got the Orazca Relic in there instead of I thought about using Revitalize, but it didn't work as well. And then the key to this deck is the Fall of Thran. The idea basically is that I'm going to wipe out all their lands and then clear their graveyards. Or keep them from playing cards in their graveyard. That's the idea of this deck. So we'll see how that works out. I did use some Settle the Wreckage because in theory it doesn't matter if I let them draw more land if I'm going to just wipe the land out and they're only going to get 2 anyways. I did one recording of this with a not ready version of this deck, and then I tuned it quite a bit, but like I said, I had audio issues. That was the reason I didn't do this. So now the video is way later than I intended it to be. Okay. Tithe Taker is another one that's supposed to slow them down. The familiar there is supposed to ramp because once we get... Oh, crap. They're playing discard. Get rid of my Immortal Sun. That's just to take care of any planeswalkers they have, because the creatures are not strong in this deck. I'm really reliant on board wipes. Yeah, and the idea is just to cripple them in the late game, make them start over, and then walk over them then. And it's my little... Because I'm playing so many cards that are at the 6 drop, but then ramp is really important, which is why I didn't use the Revitalize. I hope I'm saying the name of the right card. Okay, got my familiar. Okay, so we're there already. The only problem with this, I hate destroying their lands when they only have 3 in the first place, but what are you gonna do? Now, ideally, I would have out some way to start getting lands back before them, or just have more ramp than them. Not sure either is the case right now. Here we go. So they're going to end up getting back 2 land, but when I get... Basically, I'm going to get more of these spirits out that'll allow me to... the Remorseful Spirit, because you don't... Even with Summoning Sickness, you can activate their ability. Clear their land out of their graveyard. Okay, and then during my upkeep, I'm gonna get 2 more land, and they will not. So it was a really complicated way to only destroy 1 land. So. I did consider making this make this red-white instead of green-white before. Alright. So I'm all set up, if I can... Now, the Tithe Takers are nice because they make things more expensive, which is why I did have... the statue that just came out, it makes everything more expensive. I did have that in this deck, but I just had way too many 6-drops at that point, so I took it out. Even though it did drain them 1 life every turn. They really shouldn't have made that a legendary artifact, because, first of all, it just makes more sense flavor-wise that Nicol Bolas would have more than 1 statue of him put up. And then the card would have been a lot better if you could stack 4 up, everything costs the opponent 4 more, and it drains them 4 life. You know, it would have been a much better card then. Okay. I really wish I had the City's Blessing at this point, because I have the 6 mana I need. Here we go. Alright, now let's see if I play this smart or if I do this dumb. Nope, I was dumb. See, I should have attacked first. Oh, I guess I could still attack. Alright. And for a split second I had City's Blessing, so it still counts. That's pretty nice. Alright, fly through, attack with flyers. Boom. Alright, now sacrifice. There we go. Alright, now you are up shit creek, my friend. Alright, replenish my hand. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, because now I'm only going to have 2 land out this turn. I had just played like a dozen games with the messed up version of the deck, or messed up audio, so I was not even thinking about the fact that I already had 20 health, so I would have been fine. So. The other thing that I've made a mistake with this deck a bunch of times, is that I play a land and then I play the Fall of Thran. It's like, that was dumb. I lost my whole advantage. You know, you should play, if you can, play Fall of Thran, and then play your extra land, so that way you have 1 land and the opponent has none, and then, you know. Ah. Alright. I did have a game where Tomik failed to prevent them from playing cards from their graveyard. And that's like the whole point of him, and that's what gave me the idea for this deck, so... Still a 2/3 flying for 2, so that's not bad, but yeah, I like the Remorseful Spirits, and the Remorseful Spirits messes with other kinds of decks too, and like if someone's running you know, graveyard shenanigans, clear that shit out. My huskies are howling, so it's making my other dogs whine. I don't know why. I just let them out. My more mischievous dog is trying to get into something, and then it makes my Chow Chow mad, so they fight. So I lock them up, but now they're complaining. So if it sounds like I'm overrun by wolves, that's what happened. Alright, we'll do a second game here. Now the nice thing about Multani is that its strength is, and its power and toughness is equal to the number of cards on the battlefield and in the graveyard. So even when I do Fall of Thran, all my lands count all the same to him. Now, there is a new Druid card that it proliferates whenever whenever a land drops, and which could accelerate Fall of Thran. But I'm not sure I want to play that card in here or not. I'll have to think about how that will actually resolve. I'll have to reread Fall of Thran, because I can't remember if it's whenever a token's placed on it, or if it's just whenever, or if it's just at the beginning of your upkeep. So I'm pretty sure it triggers on the beginning of your upkeep. I could have blocked there, because I believe it takes them 3 to trigger their ability, but I think I was in disbelief about how willing they were to let their creatures get killed, but this might be the game I was talking about where I wiped everything out and then they seem to be able to play lands from their graveyard anyways. So when I get more rare drops, then I'll probably replace Tomik, then if that's the case. But I might just replace him anyways, because like I said, I like the... Yeah, I probably shouldn't have played that yet. Okay, so I've got Tomik out, and I've got Fall of Thran. Probably shouldn't have attacked, because they have way more life than me. And they can't trigger their abilities, so in theory... Yeah, see, there they go. They got out their 2 lands, so Tomik does not work with Fall of Thran. Even though it says that they cannot play cards from their graveyard, so I guess my whole concept behind using him was wrong. Yeah, his ability specifically says that you can't play lands from your graveyard, so I guess because it's not a graveyard... yeah, I'm not sure why that didn't work. The only thing I could think of is that that card basically only works against Crucible of Worlds, so maybe just having a 1-of in there. What's funny is after this round, I was playing a different deck, and I ran into a red land destruction deck that used Crucible of Worlds, and then there's a land you can sacrifice to destroy a target land, and so they just kept bringing the land back every turn. So Tomik would be great against that deck prop. And if not, then I have no idea what he actually does. And that's assuming that they didn't just screw up the coding for him on Magic the Gathering arena. It's always possible. I could try running this with another Crucible of Worlds to make it more consistent, because I never seem to get that card out. Against this deck, a 2/2 is strong enough, so I consider that. Alright, so he's got me down to 2. Don't have City's Blessing yet. Oh, that's what I was concerned about. My life is so low that I need to start getting out. I need to get permanents out on the battlefield for City's Blessing. Now I can gain 6 life, which... Yeah, the early builds of this deck, I did not have the Relic in there, and I was... aggro was just taking me out so fast, so... I don't remember if I block with that Llanowar or not. Oh yeah, I did. Alright, cool. It's probably a good idea because they seem to have some abilities that trigger when I take damage. So, alright, there's my Remorseful Spirit. Or Remorseful Cleric. My bad. I would like to build some weird tribal decks. Like I want to build, I want to build a Druid tribal deck just to do it, and then or a Cleric tribal deck. So I'm always on the lookout for a good Cleric. All right. Not feeling very confident, I guess, so just gonna keep pinging them with birds. With the verbs. One weird tribal deck I wanted to build with Elk Tribal. So, and I think next week I'm going to play Cats, because there's a really good Cats card, and most of the cards are on the common or uncommon level. And so the Cats deck is pretty tight. So they have so many 1/1 creatures that I want to keep that two toughness blocker up. I just want to get them down low enough to where I can walk across with Multani and wipe out their crap. So gaining 9 health really helped. So you can see why having those relics in there were really important. They were ramp when I needed it, and then they're card draw and health when I needed it. So, all right, that'll help me get a creature out in theory. One of these games, I ran that and I didn't get a creature from it, and so I destroyed land for nothing. We'll see if this is the game or not. Okay, here we go. For all the enchiladas. What creature do I get? Okay. Alright, Tragic Poet, which will allow me to get Fall of Thran back out. I'll be able to make them restart the board again. Not that they really need it. They're playing an aggro deck. I don't know if they have a big bomb or not. It could at least ruin their day when it comes to regenerating that skeleton. Well, actually, if I kill the skeleton, they can't bring it back. So if I'm smart here, I'll block the skeleton, wipe out their graveyard, and then oh yeah, there's my Ixalan's Binding. I did have 4 of those in here, which was nice. I ran a game where I took out all their... I played 3 of the 4. No. Why am I doing this? Yeah, in hindsight, that's not how I would have played this at all. Oh, they quit, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, when I... So there we go. There is Sinkhole. It seems to work pretty well, even though the combo is pretty janky. There's a few tricks I didn't really get to play in there. Like I do have Blackblade Reforged, which is nice because there's a lot of legendary creatures in this deck. So linking it to Tomik early in the game is pretty fun. Especially if I got a Sawtooth out or something that lets me get the lands out faster. You guys never did get to see that Crucible of Worlds. That one's pretty fun. Yeah, so that is it. And like I said, next time I'm probably playing Cats because that deck works super good and it's fun. And it's probably pretty affordable. There's only a couple pieces in there that are expensive. And if you're playing on MTGA, you probably have like the banner and stuff anyways because it's been around for long enough. So until next time.